Given the fluid nature of the event that's currently hitting Florida, Hurricane Ian, I would like to lead off today's video by just reading off the time and the date. It is currently 14:45 hours, 28th September 2022, or for those of you in the civilian world, it is about 2:45 in the afternoon on Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. Now, I would also like to lead off today's video by saying a big thank you to Governor Desantis for unwittingly coming to my rescue, coming to my defense. I don't think it was his intent to do so, but he said something earlier in a press conference that summed up very eloquently what I've been trying to say for the last 4 or 5 days. Now, given that he's a trained military communicator, I'm not surprised by this. He's far better at this, but a reporter teed up a question that could have been taken the wrong way, but he thought about what the man was saying and then acknowledged the truth. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and listen to this. This was from about, I believe, an hour or so ago.
A lot of the storm surges in that area, Sanibel and Captiva are getting hammered right now. I'm just wondering how evacuation efforts went there as they embraced the eye.
Again, all of those individuals were under evacuation orders. We don't actually have the numbers of what the percent was that evacuated versus those that didn't. I would imagine, since most of that same area went through Charlie, they probably evacuated. Again, Charlie was a fraction of the size of this particular storm, but I would imagine that most people that have lived through that, they went ahead and evacuated.
I think another issue is just, there were people that evacuated Tampa Bay to Fort Myers because you see the different weather tracks, and it was thought that it would go hit Tampa, maybe go up the coast, and that was not that long ago. That was, 36, 48 hours ago. You go back another 12, 24 hours from that, it was going to hit Taylor County. And so I think that some of the folks in Southwest Florida, because so much focus was on Tampa, then when it says, oh, actually, it may be coming here, I do think some heeded the warnings, but I think it's because the forecast can kind of be all over the map, that sometimes people say, well, you said it was there, then you said it was there. I think in the future, we tried to stress the uncertainty. When you have a model taking it to Louisiana and another model taking it to Sarasota, and then you just kind of meet, it's not probably the ideal situation. Now that we're close, once you're within 72, certainly 48, those are very accurate forecasts. But before that, there's just so much uncertainty. But I think sometimes people think, well, you said it was going to be here, and then now you're saying it's going to be here. So we'll see how it goes. I know the folks in Lee County, once that forecast changed, I know they acted very quickly, as they should have.
Which is everything that I was saying about Fox. I was not taking into to task, the government of Florida. My problem was when Fox News, and this is a screenshot, by the way, from way back 25 September, when this was still just a tropical storm. And they put out this cone of what they called their cone of uncertainty that had it all the way near Alabama, Mobile. But their farthest east in their quote-unquote cone of uncertainty took it basically where it is right now. Actually, not even. And listen to what the governor said. There were people, based on this reporting, that evacuated into the path of the hurricane. Now, someone say, why would Fox do this? Money. M-O-N-E-Y. Even the timing was wrong. This is also from 25 September. They had this storm hundreds of miles, the center of it, hundreds of miles off the coast of Florida, southwest Florida, at 8 a.m. this morning. It was not hundreds of miles. It was not hundreds of miles. Once again, even their farthest east prediction still had it at least what looks like about 100 miles, and it wasn't even close. And they were selling ads and talking about everybody should gas up now and begin evacuating. They were talking about people evacuating way back on the 25th of September. And here were the images they were using. I'm glad I did a video on this. Delray Beach, Florida, people evacuating. People allegedly in line for gas. Places running out of fuel. There's empty shelves in Delray Beach, which is way, way, way over on the other side of the state. Where were these people going to evacuate to? And why would they? You see, sometimes people get caught up and mesmerized a little bit by the coverage. So when they change it just a little bit, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, people forget. People forget how wildly wrong they were. I mean, no one had this eye wall. No one had it anywhere near like Punta Gorda or anything like that. It was going to go, they were talking about, oh, Tampa, oh, no, oh, Tampa. And remember, Tampa was the farthest east they had it. They had one that was going up here into the trigger area, and then another one going way over here. So, and on top of that, they weren't just saying, well, these are predictions, don't do anything now. That's not what they were saying. Let me be very clear. And the governor alluded to this. At that time, 25 September, they were not only saying, here's where it's going, here you should evacuate. They were telling people to actually take action based on those false models. Why? I can tell you exactly why. And doing this for a living, being a communicator for a living, it's a very different thing than most people would understand about how places like Fox News and up CNN too, how they make their money. They sell ads. I'm sure a lot of people know that. But that ad rate is not a static thing. You have to keep people tuning in. Now, I make a YouTube video. Somebody comes here, they click on it, they sit through an ad or two, they help me out that way. I really appreciate it. And you watch your video and you go on with your day. With places like Fox News, with websites, and with broadcast TV, how much they charge their advertisers is fluid based on how many people are tuning in and for how long. Well, when you have an event like this, people are turning on the news and leaving it on morning, noon, and night. People have multiple TVs and computers and devices in their house. If they're not staring at their phone, looking at it, they've got the laptop or they got the tablet or they got it on TV, especially the old folks in Florida. And that's what I focused on. Most of them just turn the TV on Fox News and leave it all day because of what's going on, because they want to be up to date on this. And the earlier Fox News could start this kind of scare tactic coverage, the better for them. Now, funny story. You see, they used to have a different tactic because they couldn't count on it all the time. When they first started, they knew exactly how to get people to, during the day, turn on Fox News and leave it on all day long. In fact, even at night, and some of you might be old enough to remember this, when old people would go to bed, they'd turn off the TV. Well, gosh, we're going to lose ad rate. We're going to lose so much money because people are turning off the TV at 9 or 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. Well, guess what they had? Who remembers Greg Gutfeld and Red Eye? They would take these conservative female anchors and they would dress them up basically in lingerie. And then they would do this little comedy show with Greg Gutfeld. And S.E. Cupp works for CNN now, and I'm sure a lot of you won't listen to her because of that. But believe me, she worked at at Fox, it's hard to tell these days, for a long time. And can tell you the truth about all of this. So what's going on now, the reason it was so particular to me, was being like, oh, they just moved from regular porn to weather porn. And as soon as they can grab onto an audience and start making grandiose pronouncements about where this hurricane should go or is going to go and what you should do, it's really irresponsible and dangerous. And that's why I called it a psychological operation, and it still is. It still is to this day. And once again, the governor saw it. Now, he didn't say it in so many words, but he even noticed, look, even 4 days ago, the mainstream media was telling people to evacuate from Tampa, and they evacuated down to Fort Myers based on those old tracks. I mean, look at this. This was when they said it was going to be where, and there were also YouTubers that were talking about, oh, it's going to be way over here. It's going to be Louisiana. It could be Alabama, but nobody had it going to Fort Myers. Nobody. And so there are people. I have a friend who has a house down in Punta Gorda. Now, I could have just said, you know what? This is the track. It's taking it. The track is actually taking it straight over the state and literally right over my house. The current track right now is taking it right over, I guess it's, what is it, Fort Myers and Cape Coral, over Orlando, and it's going to land right just north of Daytona before it goes back out to sea. I could have technically said to my friend, hey, can I go hang out at the house in Punta Gorda for a few days? That would have been dumb, wouldn't it? Would have been incredibly dumb, because this Punta Gorda is down here. It was horrible. Would have been a terrible, terrible decision if I had listened to Fox. So, inside baseball kind of stuff that a lot of people don't get. And not that you should. Not that you should. It's something that I've tried to communicate about how these folks make their money. It's about how many people are watching and for how long they can charge more and charge more and charge more and charge more. Simply because they can tell how many people are tuned in at any one time. Whether it's to their website, whether it's to the broadcast, whether it's to the digital whichever. And they can just keep that dial on max with an event like, they love events like this. Don Henley wrote the song about it. Dirty Laundry. Pardon me. Now, thank God, here up in Northeast Florida, it's just been the occasional blow of wind and a little bit of rain. But I could have been outside all day working and it would have been fine so far. So, once again, as always, thoughts, prayers. And thank you. Thank you, Governor Desantis, for pointing out the PSYOP. God bless, like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.